Hey guys, welcome back to Spittin' Seeds podcast, PG Mid-Atlantic's podcast. I'm Gary Wilson along with John McAdams. Today we have founder and program director of Niners baseball, Rob Maida. How you doing, Rob?
How you doing, everybody?
Good,
Good. How
man.
you doing, bud?
Thanks for being on with us today.
Great to be inside.
Yeah, rather be out on the field, but it is what it is.
Make the best of the worst, right, guys? Make the best of the worst.
Absolutely. How's everybody, over there on your side doing with, no baseball? What's everybody doing to stay active and stay training?
It's a transition time, I think, for everybody. I don't think anybody right now has a blueprint of what we are and are not supposed to do outside of staying in our homes. A lot of kids actually have reached out and asked me about what they should do, what shouldn't they do. It's kind of funny, too, because it's kind of a different answer for everybody. You got the college kid who's kind of like in the same alignment as the high school kid is right now, in that, like they're preparing, the college kid now is preparing for their summer, their programs, and high school's obviously doing the same. And there's still an outside shot, I guess, of high school play this year. But I think the pro player and stuff, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're all over Rand McNally. They're all over the map. They have the means to probably help themselves with it. But for me, intermediately, like I'm just using a lot of video stuff right now. And I think kids in some cases are lost about what they are and are not supposed to do. So I think as we go on in this process, guys, I think in the next week or two, I think the first week, I know for myself, I kind of just went on lockdown.
Sure.
I just kind of wanted to assess because I'll be honest, I kind of messed it up too. I thought this was just going to be a really, really bad flu, and I miscalculated it, probably like most other people. Unfortunately, I wish we were all right?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
But I think the kids, from what I can tell, they're starting to get active. Some of them are getting antsy, and we're just going to have to take the path of least resistance and be in a continuum of whatever we need to do in our plan. And this week, guys, we're going to really assess some of these kids where they are going forward, because I think we're starting to see a little bit of the light of the tunnel, possibly in May as being an opening date with President Trump saying what he said yesterday. I think we'll have somewhere around June. I think we'll be back baseball wise, in my opinion. Whatever
Sure.
that's worth. Probably nothing, but I'm just going to go with it.
It's all opinions right now. I can speak for myself. Like the toughest thing for me, both with baseball and being an employee of Perfect Game, is just dealing with the unknown. Like one week we think we're gonna be out there in April, another week we think we're gonna be out there in May, and then June, and it's like, we want to get into action. I'm sure you want to get into action. Your players want to get into action, but it's like, what actions do we take to lead up to what date? Like the unknown is what is driving everybody crazy.
You're right. And I think, that's probably, you're right, Gary. We all want a date. It's like anything else we do in life. We always want a goal, right? We need to have a date or a goal or an end spot where we think we want to be. And then we just go for it, whether it be a weight loss plan, a saving money plan. We all have to have a goal. We set our minds that way as Americans. And, it's kind of hard when we're in the unknown. We're still learning about this virus daily, second by the second. So, I think though we just have to prepare. It's kind of like the same way when you go into a season when you were a high school player. I know I did. When I was a high school kid and a college kid, to me, the season before the season was always the most important.
Yeah.
Because I always thought it was a predicator of what my success or lack thereof would be. And I think for a lot of these kids, I hope, and I'm going to try to instill it in my program, is that they understand that there is a process in this, and you're not going to be exactly where you would have liked it to be, but as long as you're getting somewhere around where you need to be, I think that, to me, myself, that would be my goal for my players.
Yeah. And me and Gary spoke about it on our first episode. Have you seen anything with your players? I mean, I thought it was refreshing to start to see kids kind of come up with obscure ways, or ingenuity is what I called it actually, of kind of getting their training in or getting their reps in. It was more refreshing than what we've seen, probably the tail of what's going on with a lot of the technology stuff. And I said, listen, it's useful, obviously, to have metrics. It's the way of a lot of people are going. But the refreshing part was seeing kids outside in their backyard by themselves doing something, or with their dad or their brother, or obscure weight rooms that they created in their garage. Have you seen any of that with your players, just coming up with cool ways, or back to old school type ways to get ready, or for this season maybe?
Yeah, that's a real good question, Johnny, because, one of the first things I did when I started this program there's many, as you know, and you guys both know, you've been a part of this whole ball of wax that we have for a long period of time. Everybody runs their businesses differently when it comes to travel baseball. So for me, I look at it as we're a developmental program. We're going to take kids, whoever we are, whoever we have, we're going to do what we can to develop them. So for myself, I spent a lot of time and energy in my life into the development of kids inside, because I think that, and I didn't think it in this regard, but I think because when you have a scenario like this, a lot of times these kids do have that word I said before of a blueprint, some sort of an idea of what they need to do, however way they need to do it. So for me, a lot of my kids have, the core velocity belt, and so my pitchers are all using it, and the hitters as well, and a lot of them are doing the kettle swings that we did, and they've somehow incorporated some sort of they have a dumbbell or something around where they can keep themselves active. Some of them are sending me videos of them hitting in the backyard with a tee. Yep. So I think it really comes down to, in my opinion at least, is, how these programs are, because if you're in a program where really there's some travel programs that don't have the time or the capability of practicing as much, I think if those kids don't have that path, I think that's going to make it a lot more cumbersome for those kids to be maybe as much ready as somebody who is in a program that can develop and help them in any way that they can. Social media, guys, is a major component of this.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's got its faults, and God knows we're dealing with some of them right now. But in terms of baseball and the development that we're talking about, the video component on Instagram for me is, it's kind of like right now, it's probably my go-to.
Yeah.
Like if they're sending me a video, I had a kid who sent me a video of him hitting on a tee. Now, personally myself, I don't really like it that much hitting off the tee, but for right now, hey, listen, you got to take the path of least resistance. And so they sent me the video, and it's like, do you see anything wrong? And I'll try to pick up something and send them some sort of a hitter that I see in the major leagues that's kind of into where they move, the movements, not the swing, not the ability, but the movements that they have. So then they can kind of share that. I could share that with them, so then they can look at it and give them a different ideology.
Yeah, social media. Go ahead, John.
I know that. In speaking before, your phone is littered with videos of your guys, other guys' movements, and you're big into the movement process. So that's a big key too, because I think a lot of the times now the movement process is what the kids don't know. The swinging the bat or the general skills is where we're at. The movement part is what separates them.
Yeah, you're right. Physical literacy is what we call it. The ability or inability of us knowing where our body's supposed to move, when we're supposed to move. And so for a lot of these kids, because I've been kind of doing it with a lot of them for several years now, it's a lot easier for them, right? Like it's more simplistic. They can, the minutia might not be there, but the overall will be there. So, I think there's so many different components though that these kids can do. The problem though that I see is that who can they do it with? Independent training in this day and age in the 21st century is almost obscure, right? And the only time that they think independently is when they're in a weight room with themselves, with the earbuds on, like I have probably, and they're listening to some sort of music and they're throwing weight around. That's a totally different mindset from baseball, which is such a team-orientated sport.
Sure.
But that sometimes that when you're only doing independent, when you know that the game does have some independent, but also some team concepts with it, that part will be very hard. And it'd be hard probably for the scouts and the college guys to equate it as well, because, they got to know going in this process that a lot of these guys are not going to be where they need to be. And can they, are they going to be able to adjust and ascertain where they think they can be and where they will be. That's a really interesting
Sure.
point that probably they're going to have to address.
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on with the social media part. I mean, first of all, so many years ago we had no social media, we had no cameras on our phones. We didn't even have phones. And
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the virus right now and the social distancing, um, without the social media and these cameras like we're using now, we might not even be able to have any interaction with anybody outside of our house, which is it's awesome for
Crazy.
us today. And I think that it's a huge thing especially with you and your players. Like you were saying about the college coaches and the scouts, it's a huge thing for them to be able to get on these social media platforms, to see players, to maybe reach out to players. I know that, John and the scouting crew with Perfect Game, they've created some social media platforms, specifically with uncommitted guys, because
I saw that. It was awesome. It's awesome.
yeah, it's a brilliant idea, especially because, the high school season was, maybe suspended, maybe cut short for the entire year. There's going to be players that, maybe aren't committed yet and they're in their later years of high school. So, what are they doing to get committed? And I think that, some of these social media platforms that we do have access to is just an amazing way to just expose players and help people to see the players.
It's great, and you're right. I think the thing though that's going to happen though is that everybody's going to be in the same ballpark, right? So we're going to continue. Like travel baseball is going to go on. So Perfect Game is going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think right now the hold that we have right now, and most importantly, is obviously this is not even being politically correct. This is being accurate. Is no more deaths, no more people dying. Let's continue and grow from this, and hopefully we can learn from our dependencies on other things that we don't need that. But I think, though, that the broad scope of where we're going with this, I think we're going to be fine. And I think Perfect Game and the outlet that you said for the uncommitted, Johnny, that you guys both started, and I heard your podcast yesterday, and I think it's a wonderful idea, is that the educational value of people that have been through this before is incredulously important.
Yeah.
It is. I would say it's actually vital because, I mean, even myself, I've never been through. I wasn't around in 1918 for the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
Sure. When all major leagues were wearing hazmat masks the entire major league year. That was 100 years ago, 102 if we want to be exact. So it happens. I mean, that virus actually attacked healthy people, did not attack sick people.
Yeah.
Now this virus is attacking the opposite. So hold up. What do I know anyway? I'm just a bad travel baseball guy. But anywho, I think the uncommitted kids. I mean, I had a kid yesterday, Johnny. Chris O'Connor. You remember Chris?
Yeah.
He just committed to the University of Albany. He's a 2020 infielder. He was, had some injuries in the summer and fall, and he dealt with it. Didn't tell me a word, which I still can't believe. And he got the surgery at the end of the year, and he ended up sending videos. And they saw him play one time, I think, in the fall. But then they came back and they checked back on him after the surgery, and he sent videos to him, and he committed last night. So
awesome.
It's out there, Johnny. It really is out there, and I think avenues like yours, I think, is going to be the major. Outside of this virus, I think it's going to become even way bigger than we even know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it creates broader horizons for players, obviously, because more people are on social media. They can't see them in person type stuff. And even so,
they don't know, Johnny, right? And they don't even know. Some of the cases, some of these guys are like, they need an infielder or they need a pitcher. I need a left-handed arm. Just somebody who's got a one pitch who can really, really spin it. I just need that one guy for 2020,
Sure.
And how am I going to get it? Well, now you got an opportunity where at least you could put eyes on something in different types of angles and clips to show the metrics. Yeah, it's awesome.
So what do you think, or what have you been hearing? Obviously, the big elephant in the room or question that everybody has is, so the college players that lost their seasons, about extra years of eligibility, or getting their senior year back, or potential MLB draft ramifications, whether it's moved, shortened, etc. I mean, that's a hot topic that's going on. Obviously, in the next couple of days, the NCAA is going to be voting on, sort of putting on the table some stuff for eligibility. And then what is your thoughts on just that MLB draft possibly moving back, not happening, getting shortened, etc.?
I'm sure you got a lot of thoughts on this one, Rob.
This is, and then again, these are opinions that are associated with Rob Maida and the Niners baseball. This is not affiliated with Perfect Game or anybody of the sort. So what I'm about to say, I got to tell you, I know this is not going to make a lot of people warm and fuzzy. I just don't really understand this whole thing. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand why I feel awful for the people in all sports in the spring when it comes to college and not having that opportunity. But let me paint a picture about this real fast. Let's say I'm a senior in high school, and let's say I go to, John Smith High School in New Jersey. And I'm a senior, and I was on freshman. I played JV for 2 years. I'm the proverbial program guy. Okay?
Sure.
I never got a varsity at bat. I never got a chance, an opportunity to put on a varsity uniform. I never got a varsity letter. I'm just a kid who really loves to play the game. What happens to me? Where do I play? Where am I going to go? Because my future is over. Because we only have two different things that happen in this world when it comes to baseball. Somebody's going to tell you that you're not good enough, or somebody's going to tell you that, you got hurt and you just couldn't play anymore. Right?
Sure.
There's one of those two things that are going to happen. Now we have a different criteria where, that one kid that goes to John Smith is going to, Notre Dame, a high academic school. He's not playing baseball at Notre Dame, and he knows that. But he wants that same opportunity. So I think the fandom, in my opinion, the biggest thing that I feel in this that is going to be missed, and we're going to look back on this and be pissed off about, is the fandom of this. And did we take care of did we take care of the right people, and which was the percentages of that? Gotcha. I think if we're only looking at the seniors in college and giving them those opportunities, and I'm not deflating that. I'm not, denouncing that at all. But what about the senior in high school? What about the freshmen in college right now? I mean, are they going to take these years and give them back to everybody? Are they only going to give it to the seniors? What happens to the juniors in college? I mean, I know there's no way that we're going to make everybody happy in this. I just really hope and pray, guys, that we don't screw this up so bad that it makes a clog for other kids that did not have the same availability. In essence, the seniors in college, if they do this, guys, right? If the seniors in college would actually have gotten younger, and if they don't do it with the freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, that means that they all got older.
Yeah.
But those seniors did not. And I don't know if that's really fair. And I know they're going to go to a 5 or 10 round draft, right, Johnny? Isn't that what the word is right now? From what I hear?
I mean, it's not definitive. I mean, I know they're probably going to cut back and so forth now. They really haven't gotten definitive. They've changed some stuff for possibly 2020 and then 2021. And then they've also gotten a little bit with the bonus structure as well, bonus deferments as well too. So right now,
they're moving back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, Johnny. They're moving back the world draft now. The question that's going to be for me is are they going to have? They're going to have to do a world draft now. They're going to have to put everybody in one big pot, and they're going to have one big salary cap for this draft because there's Dominican kids that are going to probably have more of an opportunity than a senior in high school to get the same different things. And I'm not quite sure if that's for the good of the game.
Sure.
I don't know that. And I think, to grant years to back, and this is not just baseball. It's baseball for us because it's the draft, right? Right, guys?
Sure.
Like this is all about money deep down. It's opportunity that we're going to say, but deep down, this is about money in the MLB trying to come up with the best ways because they know that the top 10 rounds. And Manfred already said he wants to cut this thing down to 20 rounds anyway. This is before this pandemic hit. So he already painted the picture about what he wants MLB, and he wants leverage in that. The question is going to be is at what cost is that leverage going to come at? And that's
who's it going to affect? How's it going to work out? And then go from there. Yeah, I mean, that's the big question.
I'll speak candidly. Alex Galvan is a kid that's going to the University of Louisville. I've spoken a little bit with Alex. He's got done with a big basketball season. He's a pretty big pitcher and probably, was a potential draft pick at some point or somewhere. what's going to happen with him?
Sure.
What happens with him? I mean, what happens? I don't know. I mean, I'm not going on a limb here. I don't know anything. I've not spoken to anybody anywhere, but I'm just going by just common sense.
Yeah.
And I worry about that. I worry about all the kids, not even just our own, but, kids that are in other programs that need this opportunity. But at the same point, how much is that opportunity going to affect other people in that opportunity? That's, to me,
Well, it's everybody in baseball at every level, because like we're talking about, it's all speculation. It's all theory right now. There's been no facts given to us, and I think that's what's giving everybody the anxiety around what the future has to hold. And like you're saying, we just want everybody to make the decision that's for the greatest good for everybody involved. And this is another reason why I thought it was such a perfect time to start this podcast, because I know, like myself, like John, like you, I know that everybody has so many different thoughts going around in their mind that I think it's just good to get them out and discuss them with other baseball people. I hope.
Hey, Gary, that's a great point. That might be the best point of all of it, because isn't that what baseball is? There's a reason why people for hundreds of years have gone to baseball games. More often than not is to make fun of the coach like me who makes a bad decision. Right? Those are the fans that go out there and they're moaning and they're screaming at that coach that made blah 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 mistake.
Yep.
And I think the conversation that goes on within baseball, like you're saying, that conversation that goes on the outside is the same conversation we're having now. And to not have that, I think, would be an injustice into everything. Because creative thought in this and thinking out of the box or abstract thought is something that we're probably all going to have to adhere to at some point. And we probably have to make some concessions, and we're probably going to be pissed off because somebody got frickin' screwed. But let's just hope that that the percentages are in favor of a larger group than the lesser group. That's to me is the most.
Yeah, I mean, let's just hope that everything works out for the best, but also, along with players being exposed on these platforms, I think it's a good thing for not only guys like us, but everybody in the baseball world to be able to voice their opinion, and hopefully that makes a difference.
No doubt. And I know what too, Gary, everybody's got a point in this. Nobody's right.
No.
There's not going to be a right or wrong answer in this. The question is that we just have to try to get it in the percentage to be more right than wrong. And I hope that, we do that. And I think by us having these conversations like we're having right now, I hope that creates some of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think right now too, I want to throw my scouting cap on. So obviously we have some guys we're talking about.
Johnny's good at it. Johnny knows every single kid. Guys who are watching this, I don't know Johnny at all. I can say this for a fact. This kid knows every single baseball player on the East Coast. I'm telling you, I kid you not. If I want to know about a kid, Johnny is the first guy that I talk to.
and you'll say, hey, do you know this guy? And he'll say, a lot of people just say, yeah, I know him. No, John goes, yeah, I know him. He plays this position. He goes to this high school. He's committed here. It's like,
oh my God. He one time I asked him about a player. He knew his blood type and his social security number. I mean,
he's like an encyclopedia.
It's unbelievable. He's like a baseball Google.
So obviously, I mean, you guys have a track record of commitments and guys moving on and so forth too. We just want to kind of highlight some of the top guys. I mean, we spoke about Alex Galvin, obviously in 2020, he's committed to Louisville. We had Michael Bello from Pope John, who's committed to Auburn. I believe he also was invited to the PDP for this upcoming summer. So we'll see what happens with that exactly. And then moving along to Shane Panzini, who we spoke about numerous times. And then any guys that that you want to highlight that maybe not be on the radar. I know you have 2022 Zach Crotchfeld that's committed to Auburn too. More light of the 2021s, 2020s, and any sleepers that how those guys that we spoke about are progressing, and any sleepers. I know we spoke about one a couple weeks ago, but just some more information on potentially that kid too at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and Shane actually also got invited to the USA PDP as well with Mike.
Okay.
So that's a really, really good thing. for him, and that both of those two kids are so programmed in. I want to spend a little bit of time because they don't hear this from me, those kids, and they're going to have to listen to this to hear a compliment. Both of those kids have been in this program for 6 years. So for me, they're players, but they're people. Like, I say this to my players, guys, and I say there's three types of people. Anybody that's around me that knows I've said this 1,000 times. There's three types of people that you meet in this world. There's a season, there's a reason, and there's a lifetime. For me personally, I want to be a reason for every kid, right? I'm not being on a soapbox. I'm not pontificating. It's what I was brought up as. It's why I wanted to be an educator when I first got into this. Those two kids are so freaking special that I will not have two of those kids again in my lifetime. Like the way that they're programmed, and I want to spend a little bit of time before I talk about those other guys because we always talk about the metrics, right, guys? We're talking about what's their velo and what do they run the 60 in, and all these kids, both of those two kids' metrics are fine. What they have inside of their bodies, and I hope that anybody that's watching this that has not got an opportunity to see those two kids play has that opportunity because they are just different. They're just different kids. Shane Panzini last year, I've never had a kid in my program history throw more than 100 pitches in a game. And I just never done it. And we were in a playoff game in Fort Myers. I think I was on the phone with you guys, if I'm not mistaken, before the game, and we were discussing who I was going to pitch.
Oh, yeah.
A little insider trading for anybody who was wondering out there, by the way. But and I said, you know what, I'm just going to let Shane, I'm going to have him tell me when he wants to come out. And at 96, and with Brian O'Connor and Kevin McMullen was at the game, and I believe Kevin was right next to the fence, and I said, he's at pitch 96, and the kid told me that he's not coming out of the game until the 105th pitch, and if I took him, he's not going to come out of the game. Like, Coach, I'm not coming out. So I'm just telling you right now, you can stand there. I'm going to throw the pitch, but if you get hit with it, you're not going to have a glove. I'm not coming out of the game. And that's just, like that type of stuff for me, that goes a long way for what he is and Mikey too. And Mikey's up every single day during this process. We talked about this before, Karen, when you asked, what are they doing? He's up at 5:30 every day.
Wow. Doing
baseball-related stuff for an hour and a half before he even eats breakfast. And I actually I had him chronicle it for me because I thought he was BSing me, and he does. I mean, it's just different. But to get to enough of the nice stuff. I'm not going to.
No, I mean that's all.
I can't do too many nice things with my players. I can't say that too many nice things. I got to say nasty. The two players that Jay Vance on the team, he's committed to Monmouth. He's a big hitter. He's a power corner. He's got a lot of twitch. But the two pitchers that I'm really intrigued seeing when we get this thing rolling is Mikael Goods from Egg Harbor Township and Gavin Martin, who I think actually Gavin might actually end up being as good, if not as as any pitcher that we've had. He was a kid that really wasn't as much of a pitcher. Thought he was more of a corner kid, came and tried out. Funny story was my neighbor next door contacted me about this kid needs a team, and would you be interested in seeing him? And I was like, what the hell am I going to do? Let's stay at home. Of course I'm going to go out. They're saying right now we have a time thing here. I don't know if you saw that. The time thing came up on my phone, guys.
Yeah, we're good for about 5 more minutes.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know if I messed everything up by doing that, but I don't want you. But Gavin, so I just had a catch with him, ran through the warm up, and I watched his arm, and I'm like, oh my God, this kid's going to throw 90 miles an hour. Had him throw a flat ground. Just throw to somebody on the flat and see what you got. And it was 84, 85. Well, by our last workout on, I think it was February 26th, I think, he topped at 91. So it's a short arm. He's a physical kid. He's like 6'2", 235.
Yeah.
He's really thick in the trunk. Similar body to Mikael. Mikael's a lefty. This kid Martin's a righty. They're both. Mikael looks like Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yes.
He really does. He's never lifted a weight. He told me up until this year, he's never lifted, which is mindless to me. Yeah. His legs are the size of my big head that you probably see on the screen right now. And so I think our staff, with those two kids coming in, and we have a bunch of other kids that I really like as well. Picked up this kid Ryan up from Monmouth Regional, who's a good lefty. So there's a lot of good sleepers that are in there. And this is the time, though, that how are they going to come back?
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
are they going to be able to spin it the same way? Because that's a field pitch. The first thing the hardest thing will come will be the feel and the touch.
Absolutely agreed.
Like a billiards player, right? It's the straight shots that gives them trouble. It's not the angles.
Yeah.
So,
Like me.
So, oh yeah, you're tons of angles, Gary. That is true. But this is a team, the 22 team, the same way. There's a bunch of really high end. The two best teams I think we've had, Johnny, in a long, long time.
Sure.
Probably since the year that we won the qualifier. I think this team is actually the best team that we've had since then.
Okay.
I think collectively, it's just a really good group of parts. And they've been together for such a long time. A couple of new parts added, but I think that, I think we should be more than fine on the mound. And one of the hitters that I'm looking forward to seeing is David Apolloni. He's a middle infielder, also from Egg Harbor Township. He's kind of a skinny kid. He needs to gain some weight, needs to drink a gallon of milk and live under a squat rack while the corona's going on. But he's a pretty twitched up kid. His metrics all match. He's got everything that he needs. The question will be can he play 6? Will the arm play to be 6 or will it be a 4? But I mean, the talent is there.
He's got the right parts.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty deep. And we're pretty balanced. So I'm really, really looking forward to it, the group. And then Rocco Brezniak, who's a 22, who's committed to Louisville. He will also be on my team as well this year.
Okay.
So the lineup should be pretty fun, I think.
He's a fun hitter to watch.
Yeah, he does not get cheated.
No.
He doesn't get cheated on front toss. Not alone anywhere. So so we'll see. I mean, the future of the program is fine. I like where we're at. I mean, the development part that I've adhered to before, I think has really helped us take another step. I think that if there's anything that I could sit here and tell anybody of what the secret of the success or whatever this is of this program, I think that a lot of it stems from the coaches that we have, which you guys both know a lot of them. Mm-hmm. That's number one. But number two, I think, is also some of the stuff that we've done with our bodies. And I just, I tell you real fast, I had one of my buddies, Dave Ray, who works in Tennessee, and he's a big time, physical literacy guy. And so it was about 4 years ago. He says to me, Rob, do me a favor. You got your phone on me? And I said, yeah. He goes, do yourself a favor and Google La Sierra High School in Carmichael, California. I think, Johnny, I showed you that, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And from that point, and if anybody has an opportunity, it was the JFK Challenge. For me, for my program, it was probably the most important thing besides starting. I've changed everything that I did, my hitting philosophy, my pitching philosophies, and the kids have got into it more than even I have. Like they are the ones now that are becoming the teachers to my younger kids. So for me, it's become a facilitator more than anything. But for, it really stemmed for me just, I don't want to get off a tangent here, but this launch angle crap that I kept hearing. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to hear, what is this? Like, what does this mean? Are we manipulating our hands to actually lift the ball up? Like, mm-hmm. I was listening to a fantasy channel before, because I am into fantasy baseball, and they were saying that Jorge Soler changed his hands to have go up on the ball. No. It's his body, dumb. I'm not going to curse. It's what our bodies is doing that lends us to where we need to go. So people like Mikkel and Gavin, like I just talked about, Johnny, those two guys that didn't have that are now on the fast track. So now, are they going to be able to go forward in that come June, July? We'll find out. I think they will. I'm pretty confident they will, but you know me, man. Until you do it, I ain't going to believe it.
Well, hopefully we find out sooner than later, right?
No doubt. And listen, I want to tell you guys, I think this is your first one. Am I the first guy?
You're our first guest. Yep.
Yeah. I'm the virgin. Well, I just want to tell you guys that I am not only honored, I've known you guys, each of you, for a long period of time. And the success that you guys are going to have in this, I hope everybody truly understands that these two guys that you're looking at love this game. They get it. They're good people. They understand where good players are. They know where good players aren't. And they're going to tell you, and they're going to show the good players to everybody. So the college coaches, they'll be all over it. And the travel coaches will probably even be more all over it, because then they're going to want to literally crack at some of these guys as well, to purge and to do what they need to do, I guess, whatever. But you guys I'm honored that you guys asked me, but more importantly, I'm so happy that you guys are doing this, because there's such a great need for what you guys can offer for everybody unilaterally around. I'm really happy to hear that this is going on.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Rob. We appreciate you being
Absolutely.
on. We're big fans of the Niners program. We follow you guys closely. We appreciate you being a supporter of PG. And, hopefully we're back on the field soon and watching you guys play again. Might have lost them.
Might have lost them. Yeah.
Well, it was a good interview.
Right.
Stay tuned for more interviews this week with different program directors. John and I will be on here hosting the show, and stay tuned. For all you uncommitted guys, make sure you tweet at the uncommitted handle, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.
See you, John.
See you, bud.